What is going on, guys? It is me, Gym Leader Matt. I'm here with a tutorial video. I have had some success on my other video about the negative time glitch, and there is a surprising amount of people that say, hey man, how do you make a thriving vault? Where do you go from the start? Like, I'm always struggling. I get to a certain point, and it's hard for me to maintain a healthy vault. So this will be a tutorial on the early game. We'll say the first 25 or so dwellers to kind of get you a go ahead on your vault to survive. Now, as you can see here, I just started a brand new vault. So what you got to do, there's no way around this. The start is always the same. There's not much customization in the start. There are a couple of things you want to do. The first thing I like to do when I build a vault is, see, right now we got all this stuff. Okay, we need to build more stuff. They're telling us that right now. But this room right here is very out of place. I hate this living quarters being here. So usually the first thing that I want to do is delete it. And you should be able to do it decently soon. And I'll show you what to do. I'll tell you a layout, what you kind of want to do with that. See, it's at this point to where you're kind of forced. What you want to do with your rooms, you always want to have room for your production rooms to be 3 wide. This is where the game kind of forces you to do something that I think is wrong. They force you to build this in one of these places, and either way you put this, you're going to inhibit the ability to put a 2 or 3 wide room. So you got to put it right here because you don't want to put it next to your other stuff. So that would be bad. So you have to put it right here, which will force you to have to delete these rooms later because you can't just delete something in the middle. It won't let you do that, but we can get around that, and hopefully we will show you how in just a second. Now this is the point to where the game will send about 5 dwellers at you. There's always going to be 2 people in this bunch that will have a decent stats. Usually the last 2 people, yes, the last 2 people will have perception. And if you didn't know, perception will go to the water treatment plant, agility will go in here, strength will go in here, and you will just pick the best people for those roles. Now this guy is agility, and you will throw him into the diner. And then all of these people right here are basically the same. Their stats are all very low. What you want to do is just make sure you're not. This guy has next to nothing. He has 1 perception. You just want to avoid throwing 1 person in a stat, like a 1 stat person into a room. So you don't want to throw him into the water treatment since he only has 1 perception. Now for these guys, it doesn't really matter. We'll throw him in the water treatment plant. And now here is where you can start actually doing something. You want to throw this guy in here, and you want to check your goals right here. So as you can see, we rush a room, that'll be a lunchbox. And then you got send a door to the wasteland, you got collect 50 food. Now you instantly want to send this guy out. Now I know it's kind of counterintuitive, you would think it would not be the right thing to do, but the wasteland is your best friend. That is where you will get most of your items and all that kind of stuff. You will send him out, and it'll do a couple of things. You'll send him out, you'll get the this right here, send a dweller to the wasteland, you'll get that. So that's one thing it does. The second thing he does, he'll go out there and he'll find items. Now this guy probably won't last very long, but that is okay. We just need him to find something. Anything he finds is good. And the third thing that it does is it alleviates some pressure on the vault. You do not have one guy in here that does have nothing to do. He's just sitting here doing nothing. Now what you want to do is start working on your lunchbox stuff. You want to rush your room, get a lunchbox. The rush chances are very high at the start. I think that one's so high because you just rushed it previously. So you want to rush it. These aren't guaranteed. You probably see it's hit or miss. Like right here it failed. Not the best. But you just want to keep trying. You eventually will get the rush chance. It's not that big of a deal right now. And that is another thing you got to remember, guys. It is not a big deal if you fail a rush. It's not the end of the world. The worst thing that's going to happen is you fail and then you get some more caps by cleaning up the incident. So periodically, all the way up to about 12 or 15 or so dwellers, they will just send people for free out in the wasteland. Now right now, we do not have anything for this person to do. I guess we could kind of expand on some stuff. But for now, we're just going to leave her out here. I believe, yeah, her stats are nothing to write home about. It's all just 1s and 2s. So we're just going to leave her out there. What you want to do, you want to focus on keeping your resources up. Not necessarily overpopulating. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They overpopulate their vault too fast, and it's just a big drain on their resources. And they get to the point to where they have too many people, but not enough caps, not enough resources, and they just drain themselves. You want to take your time. You want to make sure you have your resources down. Don't feel rushed. It is a single-player game, guys. There's no reason to rush. You can always take your time, and I feel like that is the best approach, because if you watch my main Fallout Shelter, my playthrough on it, I'm up to like 60 something dwellers now, and I have taken my time. I've got a lot of caps. I'm very prepared for the future, so I did that by taking my time and not rushing up to 100 dwellers and just having everything being drained. So what I'm going to do is wait around for a bit, and what we're going to do is complete these two, level up a dweller and collect 50 water. We're going to complete that quest, get our 3 lunch boxes, and then I will take you through the next phase of the plan. Alright guys, it has been a few hours. This guy is back from the wasteland. As you can see, he has gotten him a shotgun, he's got himself a robe, and then he has found a radiation suit. Now anything they find in the first time they go out is good, because at this point you have no items. So what you want to do is you want to collect his stuff and then just send him right in here. And then with his collective stuff, you kind of want to check and see what they got. He gave us a radiation suit, which gives you perception and endurance, which means that it'll be something you want to equip on somebody inside of the perception room, which will be the water treatment. And you want to put it on your highest stat dweller. It really doesn't matter who you put it on. But when you do that, it'll give you another quest. Now, the important thing to know about the early game is that they will just throw about 4 to 5 lunchboxes at you. And we're about to open those. Now, what you want to get, now, it's fine if you get legendary stuff. You know, that's what we all hope for. But really, at this stage of the game, you would love to get 1 or 2 500 caps. And there's a very high chance that'll happen. So we'll just go ahead and open these up and see. There's 100 caps, some nightwear, a stim pack, sports fan outfit, plus 4 strength. So that's pretty good. We need at least 1 500 caps, though. That'll help us out a lot. But if we get like a legendary movie fan outfit, that's pretty good too. And then a dweller, Billy Snow. So these are all pretty good. These are all pretty good. Maybe you won't get this lucky on your lunchboxes, but I'm hoping for a 500 caps. Amplified plasma pistol. So we have actually gotten pretty lucky on these lunchboxes. I'm getting luckier on these than I do in my actual vault. So 50 power. Come on, 500 caps. Expert jumpsuit. So we're just getting extremely lucky. We did not get 500 caps, but we did get some caps. So that is all fine and dandy. Now this guy's extremely unhappy because he's been out in the wasteland and, you know, he's just got a grumpy little look on his face. So whatever. What we want to do is check out here, see if anybody out here has any kind of decent stats. Most of these people they send you are not going to have decent stats. There is an odd chance you'll get somebody like this who has a 3 in a stat, which isn't bad. Do we have any more 3 stat people? You can just check that by clicking on them. She has 3 in luck, 3 in charisma, and hers are all just baseline. Now this new guy we got does have some extremely high strength, 7 strength, so that is pretty good. So the first thing we are going to do here is we're going to build another power generator room. And when you build 2 rooms together, they connect. I'm not going to explain it to you like you're 3 years old, because you probably already know this. And what we're going to do is send him in here. And we're going to send Grumpy McGee. We're going to send him down into here. And we are actually going to strip away his weapon. So he will get happier. He will heal over time. The radiation will not heal. I do not know. It might heal. I don't know if it does or not. That is something I do not know. Maybe I should have looked that up. But now that we have our stuff, we have 5 people out here waiting to go. So what you want to do is send these 2 people into here. This is where you remodel a little bit, guys. It's not that big of a deal, but it is something that you will eventually want to do, and we might as well do it now while it is still early. So with your remodeling, you want to delete this room. It sucks that you have to lose the caps for this, but you will have to do it eventually anyway. So you want to build another living quarters to replace that living quarters. Then you want to delete this one. And then you want to build another water treatment right here. Then you want to put your guys right back into it. No big deal. And then we will need another living quarters to house the new people we are about to bring in. Now that'll put us up to 18 maximum. You can always hit that button at the top. It'll tell you dwellers 8 out of 18, which means I have 10 slots open. And now with this newfound space and stuff like that, you want to always plan out your layout of your vault. What I like to do is not counting this, you want to go 3 wide right here, these 2 rooms, elevator, 3 wide, elevator, then you can have room for a 2 wide. Now there's not many 2 wide rooms that are useful, like a storage room and stuff like that. Those are kind of useful as 2s because you're not really going to need them to be 3 wide. But yeah, you want to have 3 wide rooms for all your productions. And since we have 5 people waiting out there, that means we can go ahead and double wide our other stuff right here. So we want to make sure we're putting people in here. She's decent. You just want to make sure you're not putting somebody with 1 in there. Like she has 1 agility. You would not want to put her into the diner. So you just kind of want to make sure that you are putting your people in the right room. And by that, I mean you just don't want to put somebody with 1 in a stat in there. So she has 3 charisma. She has 3 luck. We'll put her in there. Luck does affect these rooms. I'll probably do a separate tutorial video on how stats affect inside the vault and outside the vault and what they do exactly. But not right now. I won't go into too much detail. So at this point, you are kind of on your way. Now your food and water will take a hit just because of the expansion and the fact that it takes a little bit longer. The wider the room, the longer it takes. So it does take a hit. And this is where most people will mess up because they will just continue to build and continue to expand even though we're not under control yet. Our stuff is not maximum. Our power's doing pretty good. And it's whatever. But what we're going to do with her is we're just going to give her kind of like a overall like good stat thing. It gives you 3 stats plus 1. Not the best for inside the vault, but for the early game, we're just going to give that to her. And then you can just... we're going to give her that good weapon we got right here. And then we are going to send her out into the wasteland to explore. Now, we got some stim packs and some Radaway inside of the lunch boxes. So we're going to send her out to the wasteland with a decent weapon and some clothes at least and 1 stim pack. So she should be good to survive out there for a few hours. Now when we hit over the 13 mark, we unlocked a couple of, well, 1 room. We unlocked the storage room. Now what does the storage room do? The storage room allows you to store more things. You can check your storage right here. It'll tell you 7 out of 10 is our space. Now we will eventually need to expand on that and get more, but right now we have a decent amount of outfits. Now the nightwear, I think nightwear is kind of useless, but we're going to hang on to it for now. What you want to do is these decent stuff we got out of the lunch boxes, you want to put them on the appropriate dwellers. So you want to give this guy a Radaway. He's been complaining for like an hour. You want to go ahead and give him a Radaway, and we'll make him even happier. We'll give him a sports fan outfit. It is football season, guys, so we will do that. We're going to give her this movie fan outfit. Anything that ups the corresponding stats into a... Let's see. So what do we got here? What do we got in here? Who is our 1 person? He's the guy right here who has the most agility. He's the guy we started out with that has the most agility. We're just going to give him that expert jumpsuit. Now, a thing to note is a +7 of a single stat is the best thing you can get for that corresponding stat. And we got pretty lucky getting that. It is not the end all be all, but it will up the production in this room. We will get our 18 food a little bit faster because he has that high stat. And stats do continue to benefit you over 10. So he's got 5 and it gives him 7, so he has 12. So 12 will still benefit you. It's not like some other games to where like if you get to a max in a stat, anything over that will hurt you. It won't benefit you at all and you're wasting stats. It is not like that. Now what we want to do to get this up is maybe have some rushes going on. And when you rush something, especially early game, and the chances are all going to be like the same, like 27% for this one, maybe like 29 for this, and so on and so forth. You want to make sure, because if you fail, the timer starts over, so you'll lose that stuff. You want to make sure, see there's 10 seconds left. You want to rush. The most beneficial way to rush a room is right after you harvest the resources. So right when we harvest this, we're going to try to rush it. So if we fail it, we do not lose that much time on it. So we'll go ahead and rush this. 27%. It's not the worst. Yeah, it's a pretty high percent chance. Anything below 30 is good. Even 30 itself is good. I would not rush past 30%. Now we're going to try to also rush this diner. See, we failed. No big deal, though. We just harvested. They got a rad roach infestation. So early game, if you have a couple of guns like I do, you want to just give them the gun so they can take care of this. Now, right now, rad roaches are not a big problem. Later in the game, when you start leveling up a little bit higher, and you have a lot of dwellers, and you have a lot of new dwellers and stuff like that, they will hurt you quite a bit. But for now, they do not hurt you. Now, after you get done with that, you want to take away their weapons, because you're limited on your weapons right now. So you want to save your weapons for rooms that need them. So you always want to have them in reserve, and just put them on people who need them at the time. So rad roach infestation, I give my guns all to this room. When they take care of the problem, I take them back. You always want to keep an eye on your objectives. So we got sell one weapon or outfit. And remember, I was talking about how I think that naughty nightwear, or whatever it is, let's take a look. The nightwear, how I think it's kind of useless. I do think it's useless, and we're going to sell it only because we have an objective to sell a weapon. So we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. And remember, guys, these are all pretty easy, straightforward stuff, so they're not worth skipping. But sometimes you will get something that's not feasible for you to do, and you can skip one a day. We do not want to skip any of these, because they are decently easy and they will just come over time. So that is not a problem. So right now we are doing pretty good on everything but food, and we did fail that rush, so it's whatever. And this is basically the very early game, kind of how you want to get your setup started. Now at this point, you just want to make sure you can keep your resources topped. And once you start getting kind of decent on that, once you can manage your stuff to keep them at a high level, then maybe you will want to start making some babies and stuff like that. We want to make sure we get our food up a little bit more before we get into the whole baby business. Now, right now, our main limiting factor is our money. So we want to make sure we get caps, and you can only do that by, completing objectives. We will get that naturally. Lunch boxes will give you a decent amount of caps. Leveling up, anything like that. Rushing will give you caps. And then the best way to get caps, I find, is out in the wasteland. When you get to the higher levels to where you can send somebody out for long periods of time, they will come back with anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 caps after a few days. So that is the best way to get money. So right now we're a little bit struggling, but it's not too bad. It's what you expect. There's no way to really hurry this along other than to take time. And that is the biggest thing about this game, is take your time, guys. You're not benefiting anyone if you're just trying to rush everything. If you're just like, well, I want to play this game. I want 50 dwellers right now. I want to do this right now. I want to spend all my money. I want to expand. Remember, every action you take in this game, by expanding, getting more dwellers, doing whatever, doing something you're not ready for, it can just have rippling effects on the vault, and it can slowly cause it to crumble. So you want to have your layout in mind. You want to have a slow plan that you want to execute, but you just want to keep it simple, guys. Now I'm sending 2 dwellers down to the living quarters. When you send a male and female down to the living quarters, barring that they are not like brother and sister or something like that, they will eventually have a baby. You can see down here they're already kind of sweet talking to each other. You're so sweet and all that kind of good stuff. And they will eventually dance. Now I'm going to take a little break real quick, and I'll come back in a second to you guys. It'll be a second, and we'll see what happens with that. Alright guys, we are back. They are smooching now. They just did a little dance. They will go into the back, and they will have a bunch of happy faces come up, and they will come out with the baby. You probably already knew that, but whatever, we'll highlight it anyway, because I'm assuming some people are going to watch this that just don't know much about the game in general. So whatever, if you already know this, watch it anyway. So they'll come out, and of course the woman will be in the yellow maternity clothes or whatever, and they'll have a baby. Now it'll roughly take them 3 hours to have the baby, and once they have the baby will count towards your vault. But they will also eat up resources, and they will take them to about 3 hours to become an adult, to where they can actually do anything. So you do not want to have too many babies too fast, but you do want to have some babies, because there is some rooms we need to get to so that we can efficiently explore the wasteland. Now the next thing here is Medbay at 14. That gives you stim packs. It works the same way as any other resource room, except it produces stim packs when you reach the bottom of the time limit. The next one will be Radaways. Now, Radaways are not as good as stim packs, but they're still pretty essential, especially earlier in the game. Now, it does get to a point to where you don't need as much, Now, but you need more stim packs than you do RadAways. That'll be open at 16. And then you get the Radio Studio at 20 dwellers. Now, I do not think the Radio Studio is any good at all. I do not like it. I would rather produce doing babies, because when you broadcast on the radio, it ups your chances to get attacked by outside sources. Like when you get to a high enough level, Deathclaws can come more frequently just because of your radio station. Also, raiders can come more frequently because of the radio station. But when you really, the game doesn't have much customization right now. You can only have this little set plan. The game does not really open up for customization until you hit 24 dwellers, and then all the way up to 50 dwellers, you will be unlocking training rooms to bring up their special stats in the respective categories. Like the weight room is going to be for strength, and you got the athletic rooms for agility and stuff like that. You'll get your perception room after that. And then that's where you can start training your dwellers up and having very efficient rooms. As you can see, a rad roach infestation just broke out. Same thing here, guys. You want to give a couple of people weapons so that they're not just punching these rad roaches with their hands. And there we go. Very easy, very manageable. Now, as usual, we want to take away the weapons. Now, if you notice there, the pregnant woman ran out of the room. The pregnant people do not fight. So you want to avoid having too many pregnant women in a room or in your vault in general, because they cannot fight. If something happens, they will just run to the nearest living quarters, which is down here, and they'll hide in the back until it is over. So you want to avoid that. Maybe have 2 or 3 at a time. So we do not have any more lunch boxes. Unfortunately, we got this deliver a baby. Well, that's not unfortunate at all because we haven't delivered it yet. Forget what I'm saying. So this has been the early game of the vault. Probably not much going on here, but it does kind of give you a basis to start on. Now, I'll probably do 2 or 3 of these videos. I will take you at least up to 24 plus dwellers so I could show you training rooms and what you want to do with that. Now, I'm going to leave this here, and then I'm just going to slowly work on it. And then when I get up to about 25 dwellers or so, I'm going to come back and I will do some more tutorials to tell you where to go. But this will start you up. I'll try not to do too many things off camera. But I'll see you on the next video, guys. Of course, if you like this video, give it that like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys on the next tutorial.